We always say websites are like living, breathing things.
Sure.
Your business evolves, which means that you have to go back in and check on this information to be sure that it's true and accurate to what you're wanting to put out there at the time. So it could be that you have something pinned that just doesn't, maybe it involves a service line that you no longer offer, or maybe your priorities have changed.
Hey everyone, welcome to the S.O.B Marketing Podcast, where we celebrate the S.O.B that you are, and if you haven't figured it out yet, we mean small-owned business. We don't mean S.O.B.
Listen, we know that as a small business owner, you are working hard on the daily to keep your business fully operational while trying to promote it. And while some days it may feel like the business is owning you, if we're being honest with each other, I bet you would admit that you wouldn't give up the insanity for anything.
Our commitment here at the S.O.B Marketing Podcast is to give you the real talk, what works when it comes to advertising, marketing, promoting your business, and then what doesn't really work.
And Chelsea and I promise to always keep the conversation real.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Welcome to the S.O.B Marketing Podcast. S.O.B as in small-owned business. We would never call you guys names. Before we get started, Vivian, we're trying to build a cult here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a cult for good.
A cult for good.
Not for evil.
Absolutely not. But to build a cult, we need everyone to make sure they're following us or make sure you're subscribed. And we need you to leave a review so that we can get in front of other small business owners so they can join the cult for good.
Marketing cult, that is.
It's a marketing cult. It's fine. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the marketing part of this podcast. But before we do, a friendly reminder, y'all, we have a TLDL section. Too long, didn't listen. So we get that you guys are busy. You might not have time to listen to this entire episode. You can go to that chapter of this episode, and I'm going to give you a brief synopsis of what we talked about. Afterwards, once you get the chance, go back and listen to the entire conversation because context, everything that I say in the synopsis is going to make more sense when you hear the entire conversation. But let's get to the good part now, Vivian. What are we talking about today?
Today's marketing topic is going to be, I kind of wish I could do like an eagle sound, but I can't. It's related because this is coming out. Chelsea, put an eagle sound right here. This is 4th of July week. Everybody is fireworks crazy, at least in the state of South Carolina. We love us some fireworks. So we're going to be hearing fireworks probably for 8 days on.
The worst, y'all, if you don't live in the South, like, she's not being dramatic.
No.
Like, that is facts.
Yes, people will start like 2 days prior to 4th of July, and then they have leftover fireworks because they go ham and buy like a ton of them. So then they're shooting them off like, you know, the entire next week until they run out. Which, listen, I love me a good fireworks. So
Totally fair.
Fireworks show. So today's topic is actually going to be marketing fireworks. Small tweaks that you can make to jazz up, to really like put an oomph behind your marketing as a small business owner.
Okay. So like a good explosion.
I mean, explosion in a good way.
In a good way. Yes,
you're right.
Yes. I couldn't think of how else to describe a firework.
Kind of like you're adding, might I say, dynamite? Dynamite? You're adding dynamite to your marketing.
Okay.
With these small tweaks that we're going to bring up today.
You know what? I love that. That's yes, absolutely. Real quick, have you seen that clip from Hoodwinked?
No, what is
movie?
That?
It's an animated movie, which growing up, I loved Hoodwinked. Okay, it's really funny. So at one point in time, a squirrel and the wolf are in a mining cart.
Okay.
Like zipping through a mine. And they're like, oh, it's really dark in here. Light a candle. And the squirrel lights a candle. And the wolf is like, oh, that's really bright. What candle is that? And the squirrel goes, Dinamite. And then he looks at it and he's like, oh my God, throw it. Like, get rid of it.
That was me just now. Dino. Might.
That's what I thought of. Y'all, let's get into marketing, okay?
Perfect.
Okay. So we're talking about small tweaks that you can make. We are bringing this up because a lot of times it can feel like you need to start over, right? Mm-hmm. Like a small business owner, you're sitting here like, my marketing's not working. I can't figure out the groove. I'm just going to scrap it all and Please don't do that, y'all.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work that you most likely don't have to do.
Raise your hand in the comments section if you feel like this every other week. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a very common feeling among small business owners. For one, because we kind of are like super intimate with every step of the process of what we do in our business, which is not usual in a corporate setting or if you're just focusing on one function in a business. But instead, as a small business owner, because you are kind of focused on all the functions, I do think that there is a tendency to say, why don't I just scrap and start over? Why don't it'd be a lot easier than having to go in and fix what I've done here.
Yeah, unfortunately, y'all, that would do more harm than good. And I'm going to tell you right now, marketing is about experimenting, okay? We're little scientists. We're trying
Evil scientist in Chelsea's case.
Vivian, we just explained that the cult is for good.
That's right.
You can't be using the word evil in here, or they're not going to join it.
We have to get our marketing rhetoric down.
Yeah, we do. No evil in anything. Okay, look, marketing is about experimenting. It's about making those small tweaks, the tweaks we're going to talk about today, to find what works for your small business. Blowing something up because you're like, this isn't working, is not going to be helpful.
Yeah, it is when there's a purpose or a reason behind it. But to Chelsea's point, more often than not, when you get that feeling, it just requires that you take a step back and maybe just evaluate and reassess where you are and then go from there. And so, Chelsea, these tweaks, I know when we talked about it, they're not all built the same.
No. When we're talking about tweaks, we're talking about ways that you can oomph your marketing. We're not talking about rebranding.
Okay.
Y'all, you most likely do not need to change your brand colors or your brand fonts, stuff like that. That's not a tweak that's going to make the impact that you're probably looking for. Now, if you're making, like doing a whole big rebrand, that's something different. But just randomly changing your brand colors on a Tuesday, you're wasting your time. I want to be very blunt about this.
Yeah.
Because I feel like
Oh, you are.
well, because I feel like a lot of times small business owners will say, I need to make a change. Let me tweak my logo. Let me tweak my brand colors and the fonts. That's not going to make the impact that you're looking for. The same thing with tweaking your About You page. You need to have an About You page, yes, but making tweaks to that is not going to have this huge fireworks impact on your marketing.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. And it's almost like we misplace the, I don't want to say excitement, but like, okay, if I have something that's gnawing at me and I'm like, I feel like I need to make a change, something's not working in my marketing, the easiest thing I could kind of reach for is the branding, right? Like, oh, let me just give it a new, fresh look, right?
Yes.
Change the colors up, change the typography, all that. But to your point, that's not from the perspective of a potential customer. That's not going to be the thing that gives it the bang, right?
I have thought of another way to explain this.
Okay.
Let's say you need to do your dishes. You desperately, I don't have a dishwasher, y'all, so I have to constantly do my dishes.
I don't have one either. And before y'all come at us, I mean, it's like I live in a cabin right now. We moved in and I never got one in there. So.
That's what it is. We moved in, there wasn't one dishwasher and we never got one.
Yeah.
But whatever. I need to do dishes. I see the dishes and I go do laundry.
Right.
It's still something that could be done, but it's not the thing that needs to be done.
Right.
It's so important when you're wanting to make these tweaks to learn and to be little scientists and little detectives and look at what's going on in your marketing that will show you what needs to be changed.
Yeah.
Like
almost like have a concept of what's linking.
Yes.
Like what's causing the problem.
Yes.
What is
link it to the problem.
Right.
So that way you can say, okay, this tweak will directly correlate to the issue that I'm having. Reaching for the easiest thing to do, which in this case is, we're just sticking with changing your branding colors at this point, because that's the example I gave. But just reaching for, I'm going to change my branding colors, like that's not linked to the issue that you're having with your marketing.
Right. Cause and effect. Think cause and effect. And, you know, I'm right there with you guys. I sometimes, what you're doing is creating busy work for yourself. I do it often. Hard habit to kick, but one that's really important. So, Chelsea, let's go straight in.
Wait, real quick. In my notes, I have basically stop tinkering with stuff.
I know I'm a big tinkerer.
If you're not watching this, I'm just staring Vivian down.
All right. I would say I feel attacked, but no. It happens so often I don't feel attacked anymore. All right. So let's just go ahead and get straight into it. What is one of the tweaks, Chelsea, that you think can create a really big impact in your marketing?
Okay. So we have, some examples that we've laid out. My number one tweak that I really, really want y'all to do is to add testimonials or reviews to your website and to your products. You can get, I am sure there are plugins that'll do this for you. There's easy ways to do it. And you know how important reviews are. So if you haven't done this already, this is a great tweak. This helps you build credibility and trust with potential customers. Think about it. When I'm on a website and I'm looking at a product and I can see all the reviews for that product, now I feel more comfortable about taking the chance in purchasing this product.
Absolutely. And also to add to that, with everything that's going on in search engine optimization in 2025 and them starting to integrate AI to be able to help connect people with what they need a lot quicker, whatever product or service they're looking for, don't underestimate the oomph, the fireworks this can create because you're giving it more data. Whatever review or testimonial you have in there is giving it more context and language to crawl, right? Yeah. So if they say, I purchased these running shoes and I absolutely loved them. When people are looking for running shoes or all-terrain shoes, that stuff is going to populate.
Yeah.
Also, behavior-wise, think about yourself as a customer. When you go on Amazon and you are looking for a product, or if you're on Google, you can actually now narrow search by what product and review like descriptors, meaning the products or the services with the most reviews are going to populate at the top, right? Yeah. And so it does, to what Chelsea said, it gives it so much more credibility because would you buy a tennis shoe that only has one review, or would you buy a tennis shoe that has 150 reviews and they're like 4.5 stars? All right. So it is going to help tremendously on so many different levels when it comes to your marketing.
Absolutely. Okay, Vivian, so the next tweak I have, and the next, I think, 2 or 3 are going to be related to call to actions, or CTAs.
Yes, we love these acronyms around here. CTAs, call to action.
Yep, call to action. So my first tweak is going to be, make sure you are using clear CTAs in most, if not all, of your messaging. You need to tell people what to do.
People love directions. Yeah. They say they don't, but they do, y'all, okay? Because they're kind of left like, what do I do with my hands? Like, I need to know. So a CTA, if this is new rhetoric to you or new verbiage, is very simply, you guys see it every day online. If someone has a social media post on Instagram that says, it has their caption and it says, drop a comment down below, or sign up for our email list.
At the beginning of this episode, when we said leave a review,
That's a call to action. Yes.
Yeah.
When we know you guys just did, right? Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for your review.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So call to action. Chelsea said she wants it to be clear. And then that way there is no, because you are giving people direction on what to do, they need to have the information there. So if you're saying sign up for my email list, they need to know how to do that. Okay.
Yeah.
Where can they find this link? Where can they find this button that allows them to sign up for your email list?
Thank you for adding that, because that, that's the important part. You can't ask someone to do something and not explain to them how to do it.
Well, don't assume that they know. I mean, the thing
Yes.
is, there could be people that know your business well enough to know, like, hey, I know that's going to be available on her website. I know how to join the S.O.B community. It's on their website. Okay, we can't assume that you know that, because you might be listening to us for the first time. So we have to tell you where to navigate to or how to go about finding that information.
Absolutely. Another point that we want to make for call to action for CTAs, there was a reason why I explained that that's the acronym, and then I still use the whole. Okay, for CTAs, keep it simple, y'all. Don't give people 3 different CTAs all at once. It's too much. People are not going to do all 3 things.
I had this feedback from when I was first starting out on YouTube. I had asked a fellow YouTuber to look at my videos. And one of the things she said to me was, she's like, you tell people to do 3 different things at the end of your video. She's like, scrap it and just tell them to do 1. Like, if it's just subscribe to this channel, subscribe to his channel. Right. And so I think it helps when you prioritize the most important thing. So we want to be sure that you're spending time creating content and putting information out there. Be sure that when you go into creating this, let's say it's a reel, what is the most important thing I want to come from this reel?
Yeah.
Is it to get them to follow me? Is it to get them to check out my website? Is it to get them to comment a word below so then I can send them a link in the DMs? Whatever that is, prioritize it. It doesn't have to be 5 different things. That's overwhelming to someone that's maybe interacting with you for the first time. So clear, concise, simple. Keep it down to 1.
Keep it down to 1.
CTA.
The last thing, Vivian, that I want to say about CTAs is you need to make your customer journey. Remember, call back.
Ooh.
If you haven't listened to that episode, go listen to that episode. But you want to make the journey that they go on from that CTA to the final product, service, what you want them to do. You need to make it short.
Yeah. Don't lose your potential customer in there. And what we mean by that is very seriously count how many clicks it takes to get to the thing you're asking them to do. For example, if you are a hair salon and you're saying, book an appointment with me.
Okay.
And then you basically are like, click this button, and then you take them to a website, but then they have to navigate and find the right tab on the website. You're already 2 clicks in. Then they have to select your name under the list of hairstylists. That's 3 clicks in. You see what we're saying? It's getting very hairy. So what can help with this is finding the right tools that are going to automatically connect people to your CTA. For example, we use a links, links.co. What this does is, for one, I could pop in there and change stuff pretty quickly, right? The formatting, I can add things. If we're promoting a quiz and we say, take your marketing personality quiz now, we tell them to go back up to that link in our bio. They click on it and very easily can find the quiz.
Yeah.
All right. 1 click. That's it. And then it opens up 2. Click on the link and then select the quiz and you're done. But once you start adding more in there, it's just going to get a little confusing and people don't have time for that. This is another reason why you've seen a lot of people implement, what's the tool we use, Chelsea?
ManyChat.
ManyChat. Okay, that's where you saw this need for people to be like, comment the word course down below and I'll send you the link to my course. Great. They go on there, they comment. That's one thing they've done. They check their inbox.
Yep.
That's step 2. They have a message from you with a link. They click the link. Step 3, very easy, right? They're still on the same platform they're using. You're not asking them to go off platform and do anything on their own.
Yeah.
Super convenient. So I love that you said this. Think about it from the perspective of your customer. How does it feel for them to actually do the call to action? If you're asking them to take 10 steps in between, I hate to tell you, your conversion rate's not going to be high.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Which, Vivian, and I don't want to get too off track, but this is also true for websites, y'all.
Yeah.
Do you know how many clicks it is off the top of your head?
I want to say it's like 3 or 4.
I want to say
it's
3. I want to say it's 3, but basically, good web design, they'll tell you to only have 3 clicks in between someone getting to your homepage and finding what they need.
Yeah.
Because anything more than that, and they're going to stop searching because it's taking too long.
Absolutely.
Your website's too hard to navigate.
Yep. So don't embed information in another, like a page within a page. This isn't one of those little Russian dolls, okay? I don't even know what they're called, but...
Stop wasting your time Googling how to market my small business.
Join the S.O.B community. Get templates, expert advice, weekly Zoom calls with us, and a supportive group of other business owners for, get this, just $50 a month.
Marketing doesn't have to be hard when you have help. Head over to www.school.com/SOB. That's SKOOL.com/SOB, all lowercase. Join today and feel confident in your marketing. Okay, Vivian, so our next tweak to bring fireworks to your marketing is going to be, surprise, surprise, about emails.
Our favorite topic.
Our favorite topic. It's going to be set up and automate a welcome email if you don't already have one. Now, I'm hoping for our regular listeners that you've already done this because we've had this conversation many times. But I understand if you haven't done it yet, creating a welcome email, for one, is a great way to start building that relationship. We say it all the time. Marketing is about building relationships. It's about building a cult.
Yes.
And making people feel comfortable and feel connected to your business. So a welcome email can help with that. And if you can automate it, it makes your life 10 times easier. And y'all, it is not hard to automate these welcome emails.
No, any email platform that you're going to use has the capability to set up some type of automation like this. And so think about it, if we're looking at it from the customer journey side of this, I just learned about your small business. Let's stick with the hair salon example.
Okay.
And I'm interested in your services. I've gone in and I've signed up for your email list. I had my first appointment. I signed up for your email list because you've said, hey, for my email, people that are subscribed, I sometimes send out like, discounts, or I give them updates about my schedule, stuff like that. Great. I signed up for it. Wouldn't it be nice if I had something that was warm and welcoming in my inbox within 10 minutes of me signing up that said something like, hey, thanks for subscribing to my email list. Here's some of the information you can expect to receive from me in the future, right? And then you could also embed in there maybe some other resources you have for them, right? Like, here's my cell number. Okay, professional cell number, I guess, because I think some hairstylists do that, right? Like, here's my number for you to schedule appointments, or here's the link to my online appointment scheduler. You can set up an appointment anytime, whatever it is. Give them clear instructions. This is, we always talk about how you have to guide people and be sure that you're quote unquote training them to know how to interact with your business, this would be a great way to introduce some of those ideas.
Okay, Vivian, let's say they're new to the cult and they haven't gotten behind email marketing quite yet.
Okay.
That's fine.
Send us your address so we can show up and badger you into setting up your own email list, but fine.
But fine. Email marketing's not your thing. Let's talk about social media. And a small tweak you can make that will make a big impact, big difference. Pinned posts.
Oh, okay.
On Instagram. One, if you don't have any pinned posts, do that. Two, make sure they're still relevant if you have some that are pinned.
Yeah, and she's probably saying this because of me, because I just created, we had the same pin post on our Instagram page for a while now, and I realized a couple weeks ago it was a little outdated. And so I have created new stuff to put in there. I just need to upload it and change the pin post. But to Chelsea's point, remember, just like a website, we always say websites are like living, breathing things. Sure. Your business evolves, which means that you have to go back in and check on this information to be sure that it's true and accurate to what you're wanting to put out there at the time. So it could be that you have something pinned that just doesn't, maybe it involves a service line that you no longer offer, or maybe your priorities have changed and instead you want to promote something, better, a better product or something different. So,
and don't discredit or don't discount how effective these pin posts can be, because think about it, that's the first three things people see when they pull up your Instagram profile.
Yes, and people like me, and I'm sure a ton of other people actually click on those. Like if it's intriguing enough and you see that they have something pinned, you're like, okay, why'd they pin this? Either because it was a viral post, right?
Yeah.
Or because it has some really good information about the business or the company, or they're giving you instructions on how to use a product, right? The product they sell. So I think it really is some of that free real estate that you want to take advantage of.
Yeah. Love that you bring up free real estate. Okay, another one relating to social media, y'all. Highlights.
Yes.
On Instagram. Use your highlights. If you have specific information, I see a lot of people do FAQ highlights. So you can click through all of them and have your frequently asked questions answered. Highlighting things that you want people to have access to, important.
I almost would start to view these profiles for social media as mini websites. Yeah. All right. And so what you constantly look at, and remember, because they change the style and the way this stuff looks all the time, they add features to it. Just know you're going to have to stay on top of that. But what I would do is kind of look at it from a perspective of, okay, if this were a website, what would make sense for me to put on here? Same thing with, the Instagram profile. Great. I have space up top for the highlights. What's important for people who I'm trying to entice into my small business to know, right? Yeah. Those are going to be the staple things that you leave up there that don't change. Those pinned posts, same thing, but they can change more often, right? So that's the way I would approach it, is think of it just like you're strategically thinking about your website. Think of it strategically like that. Before we move on to the next one, though, since we're on the topic of real estate, free real estate, available real estate to you guys, just same thing with anything you're doing, because we have so many different digital accounts nowadays, whether that be your Google business profile that you've claimed, or perhaps your LinkedIn account, whatever it is, anything that is representing your small business, go in there and be sure that you are taking full advantage of any of that free digital real estate that you have, because that is stuff you guys don't have to pay for, and it's giving more verbiage, description to all of these, SEO type things. So the more fully flushed you have these accounts.
Are we going to have this debate again? It's flat. Well, no, it's flushed too. It's fine.
Yes. Okay.
Remember, I say flushed.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's weird that you say flushed.
Okay.
But whatever.
We want these profiles to be completed. The more information you put on there, the better. So, write down a bullet point list of every profile you have online, and then go in and just be sure that you have your website linked, a logo on there, all of that good stuff. It's free and it's available and it's a resource to you. So use it to your advantage. Let's say that you sell your B2B, business to business. Okay. You sell a product that you are selling to other small business owners. Lots of people are on LinkedIn. If on your LinkedIn business account, all you have is the logo, but you don't have any description, you don't have your website attached to it, you don't have any of your prior videos, tutorials, anything like that linked, they're going to think maybe you're not legitimate, right?
Yeah.
If that's where they're looking you up. And so I just think give yourself the best chance that your target audience. Now, is LinkedIn as important if you're not in that realm? If you're doing crochet and you're selling your crochet, product to consumers, right, at craft fairs and stuff like that, then no, LinkedIn's not going to be as important. So for your individual business, just be sure that you are thinking about where your target audience is, and that whatever you have accounts in real estate you have that you can use to that advantage, be sure you're doing that.
Yeah.
We just don't want you to miss out on the low-hanging fruit.
Yeah. Vivian, I have a really big tweak that's going to make a huge difference if you haven't done this already. And as soon as I say it, you're going to be like, oh, light bulb. Don't talk at your audience. You need to talk with them. Again, remember, marketing's all about creating those relationships. You want a conversation with your target audience. You don't want to just be kind of like the example that Vivian sometimes gives where someone's on the other side of the street and you're kind of yelling at them like, hey, come buy my stuff. That's not going to work. They're going to run further away from you. But if you're trying to create a relationship with them, and if you're talking to them in a way that they relate to, then you'll be more effective. And when I say talk to them in a way they relate to, what kind of tone do they use? What kind of language do they use? This is a big one, Vivian, for healthcare marketing. You're not going to use all of the doctor lingo to talk to your patients. They don't know what any of that means. So you need to use verbiage that they understand, that they know, so that you can get your message across.
We just recently did an Instagram post about this because I think it was a marketing hot take because I think a lot of people maybe still don't buy into this. If you're in an industry that uses acronyms heavily or uses lingo that is specific to your industry, you can't use that with public-facing consumer stuff and expect them to know what that is, right? And so what we find sometimes is, and I know you guys have seen this out in the wild, okay? We're not calling out names, but I know you've seen this.
I'm calling out names. No, I'm kidding. I don't know.
When you see that a business shares something and it just sounds like they're trying to sound self-important. Okay, like that's kind of talking at people. That's like, hey, buy my product because this is the highest quality level of blah, blah, blah. Like, that's not, no one cares about that, okay? The thing is, like, tell me in very human language, okay, not ChatGPT language. Tell me in very human language what exactly the benefits are of this product. If, as a mom, you tap into me knowing that you understand what my problems are day to day and how your product can help fit into my life or help make my life a little easier, perfect. I'm all for it. I'll buy the product. But if you're doing nothing more than just like throwing, acronyms at me all day or saying like, this product is the highest, this and that, customer centric, all of this stuff. Like, I don't even know what that means.
Yeah. I want to point out, Vivian, this is know your target audience. If I'm a doctor's office trying to sell a service to other doctors,
Yes.
then it's okay if I use that kind of language.
Very different.
Yes, it's very different. You want to sound prestigious,
Right. All I think about is Step Brothers. Prestigious worldwide.
I've never seen Step Brothers.
Okay. It's like this made up company that they like. Yeah.
Okay, sure. But my point is know your target audience, because that'll help you understand what kind of tone and language you should be using.
Yeah, for sure. I think it also shapes your promotional stuff, the rhetoric you use on your website, everything, right? And so I think you could get very good at just kind of leaving the text or tapping into what your target audience wants to hear, right? Yeah.
Okay, so those are all our specific examples of tweaks. I just want to remind you guys, each small business is different. We want you to sit down, look over your marketing, evaluate and assess, and you will find small opportunities where you can improve things and you can tweak things, and they can make a huge difference. So consider the tweaks that we've listed out, but really what we want you to do is just be reflective of what you have going on. Don't blow up your spot and completely get rid of everything you're doing for your marketing, but instead look at it and say, what can I do a little bit different?
Yeah, and if you need a little, just another thing to sweeten the pot to do this, what I like to do is, we talk about experimenting quite a bit. Look at some of the data points that you have on these things, right? So, for example, let's say we talked about setting up an automated email.
Yes.
Look at your open rate for said welcome email, okay? So if I set it up, I'm going to give it maybe 3 weeks, and then I'm going to go into my analytics and I'm going to take a look at how many people are actually opening that welcome email. If it's over 50%, that's fabulous. If it's 40%, that's great. That means that people are actually reading what you're putting out there. If it's less than that, then maybe consider changing the subject line, or being sure that you're telling people before they leave the appointment, like, hey, by the way, you're going to get a welcome email from me. Be sure you read it. But these are all ways that you can see movement. And then that way that encourages you, that makes you feel more confident that these small tweaks are actually making a big impact in what you're doing day to day. And you guys, we just want to remind you, if the reason we wanted to lead with the small tweaks and not the big stuff is that you're already doing some part of this. The amount of time you have to invest to get this started or to go back in and evaluate, reassess is minimal as compared to it being a big, daunting 3-week project. Okay, it's not, none of these are, okay? So just remember that. And I think if anything, it helps save you time, because then you're like, hey, I'm already doing this. I'm getting great results now, and it's doing what it's supposed to be doing.
Yes. Okay, y'all, I want you guys to go out and this next week do at least one tweak. Just tweak one thing and then let us know how it goes.
Perfect.
Vivian, do you think we're ready for the TLDL?
Let's do it.
Okay, y'all, this is the TLDL section, too long didn't listen. So if you skipped ahead to this section, I'm going to give you a brief synopsis about what Vivian and I talked about today. But when you get the chance, go back and listen to the entire conversation. So today, Vivian and I talked about small tweaks you can make in your marketing that'll have a big impact on your goals. If you're feeling like your marketing's not quite where you want it to be, please do not blow it up. Do not completely start over. There are small tweaks you can make to help your marketing get back on track. Some examples we give are making sure you're pinning posts on your Instagram page and making sure those pin posts are still relevant. We also mention making sure there are reviews on your website and on your product pages, just to give you guys some examples. We also talk about how not all tweaks are worth your time. We want you guys to sit down and assess and evaluate your marketing so that you can find the tweaks that will help you the most, because every business is different. So, friendly reminder, if you are not following us, make sure you go and do that. Or if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and make sure you share this episode with someone that you think will benefit from it. And go be the best SOB you can be.